Welcome to See You on the Other Side, where the world of the mysterious collides with the world of entertainment. A discussion of art, music, movies, spirituality, the weird, and self-discovery. And now, your hosts, musicians and entertainers who have their own weakness for the weird, Mike and Wendy from the band Sunspot.
Hey, Mike, how you doing today?
I'm pretty good, Wendy. I'm feeling really spooky today.
Really spooky. Ooh.
Yeah, it's Halloween. It's Halloween week, and I feel like talking about weird stuff and the paranormal and the occult and all those lovely things that I enjoy so much.
Well, that's great. This is a good place for that.
Yeah, and I love the idea that we're working on a podcast now, and I think it's sweet. And See You on the Other Side is a cool. I'm just all excited about it. That's all.
Awesome.
So I'm in a good mood.
I am also in a good mood, and I'm excited to talk a little bit about what we're going to do here on this podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the big thing is that what we kind of want to explore on See You on the Other Side is that relationship between the weird stuff in our society, you know, the fringe things, whether it be fringe science or studies of the afterlife or psychic powers and ghosts and aliens and all the cool stuff, and how it intersects basically with the world of modern entertainment. Not even just modern entertainment, just entertainment in general. Because we have that, it's like comic book movies. They're all the rage now. You know, everybody loves comic book movies are basically about people with crazy supernatural powers, right? Whether it's going to be Thor and his hammer, or it's going to be, the Hulk that had some weird science and becomes a big green guy and beats the crap out of things. Whatever that's, I mean, that's the fake stuff. And then we'd like to say, like, well, here's the talking about the fake stuff, and here's where it intersects with the real world, science we know, and also just cool paranormal history and things like that. So I'm excited to talk about that.
And I mean, not only are comic book movies the rage now, but so are horror movies, especially given the time of year that it happens to be. But I think even any time of the year, it seems like there's always scary movies about ghosts and aliens and things that freak people out that probably had a basis somewhere. I mean,
it's Halloween 24/7 in my heart. So I am constantly living in the world of Halloween. And no, I think that's right. There's always some kind of people are really attracted to the things we can't understand, the unknowable. And that's why we write, people write horror movies and superhero movies and things like that. But at the same time, that stuff is really fun to talk about, but it's all fiction. And there is, a real side to these things. And I think that's what's really fun in exploring, even though it's not, it's not pyrotechnics. I mean, obviously, nothing's pyrotechnics because this is audio. But even though it's maybe not as flashy or maybe not as, amazing, it certainly does have, there certainly are things to talk about in the real world there. And I think that's the fun part.
Absolutely. So we're just sitting here today. We're having a little glass of wine, as we are wont to do.
Yes, Redvolution, my favorite Boda.
Yes, but since many of you may not know us, I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about who we are and how we started to get interested in this type of thing that we'll be talking about here. So, Mike, do you want to start by telling us a little about yourself?
Sure.
A little about yourself.
I'm always, when it comes to talking about myself, I'm always willing to get going. I love it.
Pretend we're at a mixer and you're
sure
coming up to somebody new.
I don't particularly have an elevator pitch about who I am, but no, the paranormal is something I've always been interested in. It's just something that's always fascinated me. Ever since I was a little kid, I was always the little kid who would check out the books about ghosts and UFOs and like strange history and archaeology and lost civilizations and everything like that from the school library. So it was something I was interested in, my entire life. And at the same time, I've always been interested in the entertainment industry. I mean, not just in making music and things. I mean, I remember reading books about sitcoms, about TV shows, about television production, about, things like Saturday Night Live or Leave It to Beaver. I read a book about Leave It to Beaver when I was I liked that inside baseball about TV and film and understanding that the culture in that way. And they were just like two real passions of mine. I'm really into those things. And obviously as an artist, I play bass and I sing in our band Sunspot. And I've been, doing that for now a vast majority of my life. I think those things have and those things that I was really into kind of informed the kind of songs and the kind of songs I wanted to write and sing about and stuff like that. So I guess this has been a lifelong, that's not necessarily an obsession, because an obsession means it's unhealthy. And I would say it's the definitely not unhealthy, because I also run a haunted history tour in Madison called Madison Ghost Walks, and working on expanding it, trying to break it out there. We'll see what happens. But we have that haunted history tour too, and so it would be unhealthy if I wasn't making any money at it, and I just spent all night instead. Now I can go on haunted history tours on vacation and stuff, and classify that as a business expense.
Yeah, and I mean the ghost tour. I've been on your ghost tour, and it's really cool that you can share the history in that way. It lets people use their imaginations, and it's I just thought it was really interesting because I learned things about the city of Madison, where I've lived for half my life, that I never knew, and it was in a fun way, in a way that made me curious about things, and so I think that's a neat thing to share with people, so they can see another side of the city that they haven't seen before and learn things.
And I think it also it kind of underpins some of the stuff we got to get at today. And I should say that my sister also runs the ghost tour in Milwaukee, so this is kind of our family business. But
the business
it is, and now that we're doing the podcast, it kind of brings the band part into it as well. But the real the thing is that the stories and all the folklore and all the things that we talk about are real. They're based, not real. I don't really know if there ever was a lake monster in Madison. Is that real? I'm not sure. But what I do know is that people have had these experiences and they want to talk about them.
And they recorded them so that you could find them later.
Right. But the thing is, these people believe, and it's when I interview people who work at these bars and theaters and stuff, and they're like, well, man, I went to the bathroom and I felt this strange presence and somebody was watching me and it's always creepy in there. And they tell you that they believe that, they feel that. And it's not, and I think that's what's exciting to me. Fiction I always find exciting and everything, but the fact is that real people are having real experiences to them in life. That's what drives. I think that's what drives a lot of it, and I think that's the exciting part to explore here, is where that intersection of Fantasyland and the hairs you get that stand up in the back of your neck. Depending if you shave your neck or not. But the hairs in the back of your neck, standing up, that happens to people, in basements, in wine cellars, when they're going in their middle of their job. Well, what's that about? And let's get into that. And I find that exciting. And that to me is more exciting than some guy in a Freddy mask who's going to jump out and maybe tickle you a little bit on a haunted tour.
All right. Well, I agree with you. And
Wendy, why don't we talk a little bit about I know you're interested in this kind of stuff, because I remember when we were in college talking to you about alien abductions in your dorm room one night. And then, and obviously she believes a little bit, because she called later a little bit scared in the middle of the night, because
when you live on the 10th floor of the dorm, you're really close to the roof, which seems to me like a pretty good landing pad for a UFO. That's all I'm saying.
It does. They just their claw goes to the ceiling and just grabs you right out of the bunk bed.
It could. But yeah, no, I don't have as much of, I guess, what you want to call technical experience as you do, Mike. But these things have always interested me. I've always had a lot of curiosity for them. When I was a child, I'd read the books about, the haunted houses and things like that. And I was always a big fan of Art Bell. And I get frightened really easily by things. So, of course, just like people pay to go see horror movies and they pay to go into haunted houses and fun houses, it's something that, I find it, I don't know, whatever the interesting, the unknown, the unexplainable. I've spent a lot of my life in the science world studying things that are observable and recordable and measurable and
drinkable.
We'll get to that. But I think the things that aren't so recordable, measurable, quantifiable, if you will, I like that. I like having a little mystery. There's so many things we know nowadays, or we think we know, that those curiosities intrigue me. So it's been fun to see your path and see you progress and do all the research for your projects. And certainly as a member of Sunspot, because I am the drummer for Sunspot, and we'll get to that in a little bit. We'll talk about that a little more. But we're all songwriters for Sunspot, and many of the songs feature these types of themes. So I've learned things, and I've become more curious about things through working with and developing the songs that involve supernatural, paranormal, anything, you name it. So I'm kind of, you could look at Mike as the expert, and I'm kind of the sidekick that is terrified and and having fun. If you think that's an okay description of my role here in the podcast.
I think that's great. And I would just argue to say that I do know a lot about this kind of stuff, but when it comes to it, when I meet people that claim to be an expert, so I say, like, you might be an expert in folklore, but I don't think any of us would ever claim to be an expert on the big questions. Like, nobody's like, well, I know exactly what happens to people after they die. It's like, really?
Yeah, right.
I don't, so yeah. I think, but I definitely, I think it'll be fun to explore these different topics, and everybody can learn something, and we're going to be talking to some cool people, and I'm excited about all of it.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
So Wendy and I have been playing together in a band for the better part of 2 decades, and our band's called Sunspot, and I sing and I play, I slap at a bass, and Wendy is I
am the drummer, and I also sing and occasionally play violin.
So, and we have our guitar player's name is Ben, and he loves this. He loves this kind of stuff too, and he'll be joining us from time to time. But he will. No, we're gonna have we're gonna have a Sunspot song in each episode, and so Ben will be showing up in the musical department nearly every week.
That's correct. Yep.
So people will have a chance to hear him playing.
Yeah, absolutely, and hopefully you'll get to meet him soon too on one of these episodes. But listen for his voice on the songs and for his guitar on the songs and the piano and who knows what else, maybe even a tuba.
Yeah, maybe it is true, maybe even a tuba. And so we've played hundreds of shows, and we've toured like half the United States and Canada, and we've taken our time. This isn't our first podcast. Our first podcast actually was called Sunspot Road Mania. And we started that in 2005.
And it's still going.
It is. No, we still, we feature it from the road, and we'll do some video shots, and we'll let everybody know what we're up to. And from the studio especially, we do the Road Mania.
Yeah, it's actually morphed into more of a vlog, I think, than a podcast.
That's a good way to put it. You're right. In the beginning, it really was an audio podcast. And then as soon as we could make it video, it became a vlog.
It's more of a documentary of kind of our road adventures and, I don't know, I guess not just road adventures, but stuff that's going on in our world and
the strange people we meet.
Right. And it's not like syndicated over iTunes or anything like that. It's not just, but it's on YouTube and so that's been fun. And that'll continue to be fun, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, we're a rock band. We're a hard rock band, which means we have distorted guitars. Right. I guess it's a way to put it.
So loud.
We are pretty loud. We have some acoustic songs, which is nice.
Soft side too.
We do have a soft side. It's right. It's soft right around the middle, especially around New Year's. No, but we do play so hard rock music, like sing along, kind of fun. We have elements of a little electronic and metal and punk in there too, but it's basically, Foo Fighters-ish, Cheap Trick-ish, Muse-ish, kind of straight up hard rock. So if you like that kind of thing, we'll have a little bit of music for you all the time. If you don't like that kind of thing, you can always fast forward or go to the next episode, because we'll put the songs at the end of the episode.
That's right. Yeah. So if you're not in the mood for music,
our feelings
condone it though.
Our feelings won't get hurt, but we will be disappointed in you as a human being. But no, I mean, the idea is also, is to take some of these topics that we're talking about and then create songs around them. We already have created songs around a lot of these things we'll be talking about.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's fun to see what, especially after discussing these things, you get new ideas and you get a little bit of inspiration there. So
I think so. And we're looking for, if you guys like a certain kind of song or think one song is great or whatever, let us know so we can tell more people about it, or maybe we'll promote it or something like that. So that is definitely something we want to be paying attention to, the kind of things that you guys have to say when you're listening, and the kind of music that you enjoy. Or if you think a song sucks, you can email Ben about that.
Harsh. All right. So as a band and throughout our touring and experiences, we've run into some strange things on the road. We've performed at venues that were purported to be haunted.
Oh, a lot of them.
Lots of them. We've seen some strange things ourselves. I mean, driving through Pennsylvania or Ohio in the middle of the night. I remember one time we were listening to Coast to Coast AM.
That's right.
Which did not help matters, because paranoia was
always makes things weird.
But I remember we kept seeing these UFOs. Basically, we didn't know what they were. They're maybe a military drill or something. We didn't know, but it was strange.
Someone was invading Pennsylvania.
Yes, so that type of thing always gets us talking, and it's just kind of a fun stuff that we enjoy talking about. So
yeah, or weird things at the side of the road. Like, did you pass a kid and then you pass him again, and you're like, did that happen? Did we pass that kid twice? Is that right? Is that even possible? And those little things happen. Or you get, a lot of the times, remember that one time, like a piece of the ceiling fell at that theater in Wausau, Wisconsin, like a piece. Like,
like a propeller or something weird came out of the ceiling.
Yeah, something like ridiculous. And this was a place where also...
That place was haunted.
Yeah, completely was haunted. This is the Fillmore Theater in Wausau, and I don't even think that place is open anymore. But
nice place, though.
And they'd be like, oh, yeah, well, the spirits at around 11 o'clock every night, they
chuck stuff at the band.
It wasn't chuck stuff at the band, though. Remember,
it was hot.
It stopped... Well, yes, the thing that fell from the ceiling was hot, but you remember, like, the lights flashed at a certain time?
Yes, I do remember that.
The guy's like, yeah, the lights flash, don't worry about it. He's like, it's just something happened here, and that's what happens. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then the lights flashed, completely flashed.
Yeah. And don't forget, and also in the central Wisconsin area, we actually went into the basement of a place that was haunted. And we it's in one of the Road Mania episodes.
It is in one of the Road Mania episodes.
We'll link that episode here.
But my video camera stopped working. Like as soon as we went downstairs, the video camera stops working, and it started working as soon as we came back upstairs.
But we recounted the tale in one of the episodes, so I'll link that here in the show notes, which, by the way, will be at othersidepodcast.com/0, and that's the numeral 0, not the word.
Right.
But yeah, and you can find the show notes for every episode that way. So just
now, I'm not saying everything that we see in the middle of the night, especially when we're on tour, can be trusted. In fact, I would say most things cannot be trusted if we see them after a certain time after a show.
It's possible, but there are cool. And now that we're doing this, I think next time we do experience something like that, we'll crack out the microphones and we'll record.
Absolutely,
with you.
Yeah, we'll definitely. Right, we had a weird orb happen in the middle of a Road Mania podcast, too, in the middle of James Madison Memorial High School. Yeah. So we've had a whole bunch of weird stuff. And this has been part of what we've been doing since 2005, is seeing weird places all around the country. And now it's something we're going to be doing on purpose.
And getting freaked out.
Yes, we do
from city to city.
We do get freaked out from place to place. It's like Scooby and Shaggy. when they're crying or whatever. They get all like we will get all scared.
Yep, it's true.
That's why Ben can't be on the podcast actually today. It's because he got too scared just talking about it. He did, and he started crying. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. And he's like, it's not okay. It'll never be okay. And right, we had to stop. Okay, so we've done some stuff. Right, we've seen some weird things. It really is some of the fun stuff, the most fun stuff of going on the road, meeting people and going places, is discovering those interesting, haunted, and paranormal stuff. Remember that time in San Antonio where we went to the place where the
railroad tracks.
The railroad tracks that the ghosts of the dead children push your car across the railroad tracks, and you can you can see their handprints on the back of the van. We'll talk about that in a future episode.
We'll save it. We can't let everything out now, Mike.
I know.
Come on. We got episodes to record.
There's a bunch of cats, a bunch of bags, and we got to, get some of them in there, even if they're plastic and they'll choke.
So I think that's a pretty good background for everybody. But if you have any questions for us, please don't hesitate to contact us. And you can do so either through the website, othersidepodcast.com, or you can email us, show@othersidepodcast.com. And you can also reach us by phone. What's the number, Mike?
608-561-2263. That's the Sunspot hotline.
Yes.
608-561-BAND.
And if you don't want to use your long distance minutes, get it? That was a joke. You can also...
Long distance is folklore now.
You can also leave us a message on our website via the othersidepodcast.com/contact. And there will be a form on there where you can record a message for us, and we'll play them back, and we'll do our best to answer them for you. And if there's a topic, if there's a song you want to hear, if there's a burning question you have, anything, even if you just want to say hi, that makes us happy too. So
absolutely
do.
And if you listen to a song that you like, and you want to hear more about Sunspot, we always have our newest songs available for download for free at www.sunspotuniverse.com. So you can check out some music there and get that on your pod's eye. No problem. Nobody has an iPod anymore, I guess. So you can put it on your mobile device.
By the way, you can also text the band phone number. But all this stuff will be at othersidepodcast.com/contact. So don't worry if you forgot any of the number or the websites or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Just use the internet. If you talk to the Google, you'll find us.
That's right.
So anyway, well, Wendy, I think that we covered ourselves pretty well.
Yeah, I think so too.
If people want to know more about us, use those contact forms, and we will tell you as much as you would never want to know.
Exactly.
About us and the band and all the stupid crap we've done.
All right, so Mike, I guess we'll get heading out here, and looking forward to many fun, exciting, and scary episodes ahead.
Sounds good, Wen. We'll see you in episode 1.
Adios.
Today's featured song is We Are the Darkness, a song about being weird and loving it.
Things that should not be caught between hell and purgatory. We are the invisible, waiting in the dark, they're in the devil's mark. We are the untouchable, the kind they walk right through and never even have a clue. We are the polluted souls, starting the need, your leprosy. You're marched down the unholy. Better to rule in hell than never have a chance. Yeah, I've never been so glad to be forever damned. And we will scream, and we will cry, and we will stand against the wind and watch them rain against the night. Beware the human that is silly little game. We cartoons and pariah hearts. We are the unnameable, demonic and sinful, diabolical. We are the abominable, with spirits that are stained, drunken on the blood of saints. We are the wicked and the cursed, doomed in the dawn, and in trouble spawn. We are the whores of Babylon. Better to rule in hell than never have a chance. I've never been so glad to be forever damned. And we will scream, and we will cry, and we will stand against the wind and watch them rail against the night. Calling all vampires, calling all succubi. We are what they fear the most, and we will never die. And we will scream, and we will cry, and we will stand against the wind and watch them rail against the night. Beware the human and his silly little game. We are the darkness, baby, we are not the same. We are the darkness, baby, we are not the same. We are the darkness, baby, we are not the same. We are the ones that they will try to hold in chains. The ones like you and me, we are a different breed. And the call of evil, the sons and daughters of Cain, find excuses for their hate. Will never know us when they curse our name. When they curse our name. When they curse our name. And never know us when they curse our name. And we will scream, and we will cry, and we will stand against the wind and watch them rail against the night. Crawling on vampires, crawling on succubi. We are what they fear the most, and we will never die. And we will scream, and we will cry, and we will stand against the wind and watch them rail against the night. Beware the human and his silly little game. We are the darkness, baby, we are not the same.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. You can find us online at OthersidePodcast.com. Until next time, see you on the other side.